The best motivation comes intrinsically, but that doesn't mean leaders can't set the conditions whereby people feel more intrinsically motivated. Hey leader, David Burkus here, organizational psychologist and author of 5 best-selling books on helping leaders and teams do their best work ever. Motivation matters. When it comes to teamwork and collaboration, it really matters. Team leadership, though, it creates a dilemma because we know that one of the most potent forms of motivation is intrinsic motivation. People doing tasks they just feel intrinsically desirable to do, the things they want to do for the reasons they want to do them. That's very individualistic. So how do you scale that out to a team and motivate your team? Well, look, motivation might be intrinsic, but that doesn't mean that leaders can't set the conditions that make motivation happen. So in this episode, we're gonna go over 5 things leaders can do to create that more motivational condition, if you will. 5 things you can do at a team-wide level that increase the chances everyone on your team feels intrinsically motivated. Let's get started. So the first way to motivate your team is to describe the end goal. Yeah, like what does done look like? What does successful look like? This motivates for a couple different reasons. Probably the biggest one is that it gives people the big goal. It gives them the big objective. People want to know why they're doing what they're doing and what the finish line looks like. But the other thing is this can be something that helps keep people motivated in ambiguous and volatile times. I'm a big fan of describing the end goal in what's often referred to in the military as commander's intent. Commander's intent meaning this is what done looks like. This is what mission accomplished truly means. This is what it means to have finished that objective. And no matter what happens, no matter what changes, let's always do it in the service of that commander's intent. In that way, it becomes almost a lighthouse in the fog of all of the uncertainty we're going to have to deal with in an ever-changing environment and an economy that just seems like it's either in or always about to be in a recession and all of those different things. It keeps people focused on that end goal, which keeps them motivated because they know what the finish line is. The second way to motivate your team is to decide on milestones. Yeah, we got that end goal. We know that final thing that we're reaching for, but you know what's going to keep us motivated, especially intrinsically motivated? Progress. Knowing we're making progress toward that end goal. And so as a team, you want to look at that end goal and come up with team-wide shared milestones that signify we're moving closer. Not only does that help us individually and at a team sense progress, it can also be a way to recapture some sense of autonomy as a team and as individuals when we don't normally have it. Yeah, your end goal might have come from some other leader's commander's intent. So you might not have a lot of freedom as a team to decide on what you're going to work on. But what you can do is decide on those milestones and decide on the order in which you need to work on different tasks and still in that moment feel like you've got autonomy over the overall project. So the motivation here happens in a couple different ways, progress and also autonomy, and both of which are going to keep your team motivated individually and as a team. The third way to motivate your team, and by the way, you can't really do this unless you set those milestones, is to celebrate small wins. Right? It's not just about the end goal. It's also about celebrating that progress that we make on a regular basis. I actually think we should celebrate even the smallest of wins. When people are just having a good day, when people receive help from someone else, we want to celebrate the fact that they had that help. But yes, we also want to have those milestones so that we have those reasons to celebrate. We have those things that can keep us motivated, those reminders of progress, but also those reminders of our contribution. And that's what the celebrations are really about. You can buy cake, you can buy streamers, you can have punch, you could do whatever you want to do to celebrate. It doesn't really matter. You could also just send out emails and let everybody reply all with their emojis and notes of thanks, or do it in Slack if that's what your team has. It doesn't matter. It just matters that we're taking the time to signify not only that we made progress, but that your contribution helped that progress. And that's going to help us continue to feel intrinsically motivated because we know our work matters and that it's moving something forward. The fourth way to motivate your team is to learn from failures. And look, this is sort of trite, right? Failure's a great teacher, et cetera. We all know that. Yeah, I get it. But most of the time on a team, what can happen when failures happen is people start pointing fingers. People start trying to cover their own butts. People try and come out of that failure blameless instead of learning from that failure. And so they're gonna look to, especially the leader, but even an influential teammate, they're gonna look to someone who can help them extract those lessons from that failure, who can talk transparently and honestly about what assumptions everyone made that turned out not to be true, what actions we took that didn't produce the result we wanted, and then what we can learn from them. And not only is this gonna help motivate our team because we know that we're learning, we're growing, we're improving, but it's also gonna motivate the team because it's gonna create an environment where people feel more supported, where people feel psychologically safe, where people feel like they can admit those failures and maybe even admit some other stuff, like take the risk of crazy ideas, take the risk of disagreeing with each other in the service of finding the best idea. And when people feel that they belong, when they feel that they're included on a team-wide level, they feel more intrinsically motivated as well. And the fifth and final way to motivate your team is to turn why into who. And yeah, this is something you may have heard me say before, but you're probably not hearing anywhere else. And to be honest with you, that kind of baffles my mind. Because one thing we've known from the last decade or so in some amazing research in organizational psychology and even in interpersonal psychology is that people are most motivated, even intrinsically, by a sense of pro-social motivation or pro-social purpose. They want to know they're making a meaningful contribution toward work that benefits others. And so that's not just talking about the end goal and the bonus we might hit, etc. That's a great why. Company mission statement, the vision statement, those are great whys. But when times are hard, when people really need to dig deep to get motivated to do a task, the fact that they can recite the mission statement, that's not gonna do it for them. But what is a clear and specific picture of who is served by the work that we're doing. And we need to have that discussion on a team so we motivate the team, but also each other individually. And if you're in a leadership role, you're leading that charge. You're turning why into who. And by the way, your who may not be the customer, it's probably not the shareholders, it might be somebody internal. Every team and every individual has a slightly different who. And what we need are people who can help us find those and then keep us reminded of who our work serves so we can stay motivated. If we can do that, if we can stay focused on the who, it's gonna be easier to learn from failures. We're gonna celebrate wins, even small wins, bigger, and we're probably more motivated to go after those milestones and feel that sense of progress and bring that end goal into reality. So it all starts with that who question. Who is served by the work that we do? Now we know who, let's go to work. Let's create an environment where people feel intrinsically motivated, where they feel included and supported, where they know that their work matters, and on a team where they know they can do their best work ever. Oh, and one more thing, if you want to dive deeper on that who, you're going to want to check out this video here on how to create a sense of purpose on a team. Not individual purpose, but a team-wide purpose that's still in the service of benefiting others. So check out this video here for that.